right, cool. So we are good to go. So first, just go ahead and give me your full name and then spell out your last name for me.
Okay, full name is Julian Brummitt, last name Brummitt. I can't blame you for not figuring that one out on your own. So.
Fair enough. And how old are you?
I'm 40.
Are you a Jacksonville native, or did you end up moving to Jacksonville?
I ended up moving to Jacksonville. There's a long story involved in that, but most of my family lives here. I moved here from Los Angeles about a year ago.
Cool. So, when you came to Jacksonville, when you first came to Jacksonville, did you ever think that you would ever be starting a project like this? How did Slice come to happen?
Yeah, I absolutely thought I would be starting something like this. What happened is I left Los Angeles with the intention of coming back here and sort of like reconnecting with my family. I had been away from them for a really long time. And my experiences in LA, I used to run a gallery out there as well. I sort of just started it out of nowhere. Me and a friend, we just sort of put the gallery together and we kept it going. So I'm not exactly intimidated by the idea of starting something like this. I mean, it's all feasible, and I know it's just a matter of work, and get all your ducks in a row, and learn how to multitask like crazy. But yeah, soon after I came out here, I got this feeling that Jacksonville was this city that has a lot of unexplored potential and limited potential, that like limited in terms of they just don't have a place. Nothing's organizing the artists in the city, and that's something that I think I do very well. Yeah. So
the creation of the space was really to focus the artistry that you felt was sort of just out and about, give people a place to really come together.
Yeah, precisely that.
So what was the first time that you really thought of Slice? Like when did the idea come about?
The idea came about a year ago, I think, like soon after I had moved here. I actually went to One Spark and I started talking to all these people, and I saw it as a common thread that there were a lot of people here that had a lot of interest in making stuff, that they wanted to do that. And I was really surprised to see something like that here, but it sort of created the impetus for my thoughts on what this city is and what it's actually about. I saw all these broken down warehouses and sort of like the evacuation of old money, that leaves a town kind of disparate, and when I see that, like what I see is a lot of people wanting to do a lot more, because nobody wants to see the city that they live in falling to shambles. I mean, they want to do something about it, but at the same time, you're suffering economic disparity, and there's a lot of this generation that came after me. I like to think it's my generation, actually, but I realize how old I'm getting. They show a lot of tenacity, and like there's a lot of want to do stuff. So I think that Slice and this whole thing is really about trying to focus that and give it a place and create more of a community. I mean, great things happen. I've seen it happen. It's been my life experience. So this place is really incredible that you've got. Tell us a little bit about the facility that you've got here and how you came about such a big place. Well, how we came about it was that I work at an architecture firm, and me and my boss and another person that we work with were potentially going to just find a little place where the three of us would be able to work together. We'd be able to put together the tools that we had and just have like a playground of our own where we could just make stuff. And we walked into this place and I was like, oh my God, this is everything that I want. It was like a goal that I had set in the back of my mind that I was trying to develop the financial aptitude to realize. Just sort of like, it was like, wow, that was just born right in front of me, just like on that instant. And so they both decided to start a cabinet shop here. I'm helping them get all of that together. I'm working with them on the projects that they get in and helping them get this thing in order. And in exchange, and basically because they want to see it happen, they like this idea, they're allowing me to use this space so that I can start Slice.
So if you succeed in getting Slice, as one of the big projects selected at OneSpark, you get a lot of votes. What do you plan to do? What are some of the goals that you have in participating in OneSpark, and if you guys win moving forward?
Well, I think that OneSpark is like operating very well for me in terms of it's going to be a great venue in which I can meet potential clients. I mean, all the people that are even showing stuff have a use for what we're doing here. I mean, wood is a very primary material. It's hard enough that you can make anything out of it. You make it out of wood and then you transfer it to plastic and then you make it into something else. So I think there's a lot of people that would have a lot of use out of me just making this available to them, If I were to win it and get money, I think a lot of that is going to go to safety equipment. I want to buy laser cutters. It's a very simple tool to operate, but you can do so much with a laser cutter. I'm going to have all kinds of insurance issues. I'm going to have to hire some people in order to help me keep this running. So there's going to be a lot of costs associated with it, and in order for me to get that going, I am really looking forward to the idea of actually winning some financing.
So where do you see Slice 5 years in the future from now?
5 years in the future? Well, we've talked about that quite a bit because the way I see this operating is that once I've sort of established a community of people and found the people who are really, really committed and actually just talented, who really rise above the rest of the people that I get to encounter while I'm doing this. I intend on making contacts with stores and places like that where I'll be able to allow these people to get product or find people who are going to buy their products, and they can start actually making a living as an artist and get rid of that job they hate working that's dragging them down. I mean, that was why I started a gallery in Los Angeles, and it's kind of why I do this whole entire thing. I mean, it's not like I really want to be an organizer, but I feel like it's something that I'm capable of doing, and so it's important for me to do. And at the same time, it's going to free me to start doing the things that I want to do 100% of the time,
So let's talk a little bit about your history as a woodworker and an artisan. How long have you been doing woodwork?
Okay, well, I wouldn't call myself a woodworker, actually. I studied at a very experimental school called SCIARC, the Southern California Institute of Architecture. It is considered the most avant-garde of all of the architecture schools. And I don't even know how to describe the lifestyle of attending a school like that, but after 5 years, you find that you look at free time in a very different way. And anyway, so woodworking, as it might be, is just something that it's a way of me manipulating material to produce something else. I'm not one of those guys that knows 50 different species of wood. James is the guy that knows that, and he's great at it, and he's very well experienced in it. I'm a person that knows how to use technology and make it do things that are kind of not mainstream, we'll say. Parametric modeling and Grasshopper, they are really interesting tools and really interesting newcomers on the technology block, we'll say. There's a whole spiel about parametric modeling that completely captures my interest, and I think is really going to make the leap from the sort of traditional aesthetic that you see in things. I mean, when I look at things we'll say this chair, you know, these things are like some historical item that have come from Lord only knows where. I don't even understand what that curve means, but I know that it's repeated throughout all sorts of merchandise again and again, and it's kind of lost its meaning. Parametric modeling is something that no longer deals with the sort of static form of a thing and the sort of traditional representation of a picture. It more so deals with the relationship between objects, and I think that is a new way of looking at things. We're entering into an age where people start to look at information through an algorithmic way of understanding things, and there's a new relationship there. It's a new form of consciousness that is on the forefront, and I am really invested in that.
So to go ahead and kind of wrap things up here. No, it's totally fine. I love all the jargon stuff. It's really great. To kind of bring it all in, what would you say is the number one value that you're looking to show to potential investors at OneSpark? When people look at Slice, what do you want them to see right off the bat?
I mean, they should know that they're at OneSpark because they see the potential that exists in people around them, and what I'm trying to do is enable that potential. So I think that they should see that as a very serious asset.
Excellent. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.